It's not looking
It's
good
not
for
looking
Dwight.
good.
I didn't even read into it. I was just like, I don't even want to look into it.
Yeah, it makes a little sense why he's soft now, you know?
That's
It's around how it Racqui be. I am not messy. I'm just giving you what you want to hear.
Oh,
and my
man.
special guest today, Mr. Double R, Pastor Double R. Can you hear it? You talk?
Yeah, I can hear.
Hey, how are you? How are you? Welcome to the Rundown.
Thank you for having me.
Well, introduce yourself. Go ahead. Tell us about yourself.
Well, Rodney Roberts, pastor of the Dominion Center on 1270 Scottsville Road.
Yes.
And I'm just here to continue to do what I do, empower people and change lives.
Oh, nice. That is nice. That's nice. How long have you been empowering people and changing lives?
Well, I've actually been in ministry since I was 19.
19. When did you get that calling?
About 15.
So how did that happen? What were you? Yeah, how did that calling happen? 'Cause I know everyone has a story. I've heard stories about other people's callings. What happened for you? How did you get that calling?
Well, my mom it's a whole lot to go into, but my mom got pregnant with me at 16, and my mom actually was contemplating having an abortion, and when she was in serious contemplation,
right,
she walked out of the place and left because she said something told her that I was special. And therefore she named me Rodney because it means famous.
Oh.
And she didn't quite understand it at the time, but as time went on, she began to understand it, and she began to speak daily into my life and over my life that I would be preaching. And so, I tried to avoid it in every possible way.
Right.
But I had some experiences with the Most High, and he just made it very clear to me. And then when I was about 18 years old, but I knew since I was about 15, but when I was about 18 years old, my mother was diagnosed with cancer. And we were told, and I'm an only child, and we were told that she would only live another 6 months. And I had prayed, and I said to my Heavenly Father,
yes.
if you,
we got to play that music for you. It's getting deep.
Oh, all right.
If I had to get deep,
well, you asked me. I didn't even come here for that, but that's okay.
That's all right. It's
but I just asked,
though.
The Heavenly Father, if you spare my mother life, I'd give you my life. And so he healed my mom of cancer. She's still with us to this day.
Amen.
And a few months later, on July 7th, 1991, I surrendered in my bedroom and gave him my life and just began to preach and share the gospel. And that was the beginning of that. And then 23 years old, I got ordained as an elder in the Church of God in Christ and haven't looked back from there.
So when you made this promise to God and he performed this miracle, were you like, gosh, I didn't know you were really going to do this. Were you ready? Were you ready for this calling when it happened? I
wouldn't say I was ready. I knew he would do it. I've had too many other experiences where he's answered prayer, so I wasn't surprised by that. But actually at the time on the 7th, I wasn't thinking about it. A lot of times we make vows and we forget. But that day I was talking to a young lady on the phone, and for some reason she said, I was saying something and she said something to the extent of you act like you're the only person that's perfect, and I'm sure you've told God you do things and you didn't do them. And when she said that, I was like, oh snap, that's true. I told him I'd give him my life and if he healed my mom, and I didn't. And I opened the Bible up, like random opening of the Bible, to Ecclesiastes chapter 5, where it talks about if you make a vow to the Lord and defer not to pay it, he'll destroy the works of your hands. So don't allow your mouth or suffer your mouth to, speak in error before men and angels. And when I read that, I was just so convicted, and that's when I gave him my life in that bedroom.
So do you believe in speaking things into existence? Do you believe that?
I believe that we're speaking spirits just like the Most High. Scripture says in Genesis 2:7 that God formed Adam from the dust of the ground, and he breathed in his nostrils the breath of life, and he became a living soul. And a man's soul is made up of 5 components: his mind, his will, his emotions, his intellect, and his imagination. And so in reality, when the Most High created us, he made us to be speaking spirits just like him. That's why life and death lies within the power of the tongue. And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. That's where we get the cliche, you'll eat your words.
Right.
And so we have to be very careful what we speak and what we release out of our mouth, because in doing so, we begin to prepare our own meal per se. So we'll eat our words. That's the cliche of that passage is that. And we have the ability to speak those things that are not as though they were. So we are speaking spirits just like the Most High. And we just have to be very careful what we say. Most of the things in your life is really easy to change if you just change your language. But you got to change your heart to change your language, because out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speak. So even if a person says they want to change and I'm going to say something different, you can't say something different until you think something different.
Jeez.
This is actually my family. This is my older cousin.
Woo! Well, you don't preach like that though. It must have skipped a generation.
That's messed up. Don't talk about
it.
Oh, y'all attacking
you gotta
me.
catch me on Mondays. You gotta catch me on Mondays, man. I mean, not Mondays, but like during the morning. I talk about motivation. I'm really, my family's really close with God, and we walk by it. So everything that he's saying, I'm with it. You
talk about it at Thanksgiving?
Oh, we just talk about it like in
regular discussion.
Did you guys have Thanksgiving together?
Nah, we didn't.
Yeah, so you're not that close. Okay, like I was saying.
It wasn't just that. I don't celebrate holidays.
You don't celebrate holidays.
No.
We on the same.
Why is that? Why don't you celebrate holidays? Do you believe it's like a pagan, like he was saying?
Yeah, all of the holidays are pagan influence, and but I don't want to get into that because that's a whole nother thing.
Oh, but this is a rundown.
Yeah, but I'm a blood-bought believer, but I don't celebrate the holidays, especially some that would surprise people, because many of the holidays have been created with the intent to redirect our worship towards pagans. And I believe that's why the church is in the state that it is in, because scripture says in Hosea 4:6, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. But it says in the next thing, it says you reject knowledge. So since you reject knowledge, I'll reject you as king and priest, which means I'm going to make sure your authority and your prayer or intercessions are not received, because you don't receive what I'm giving you. And so many of us, we're saved, or whatever term we want to use, but the only information we have and live by is the information that somebody's given us. That's communicated knowledge. We all have to have revelation knowledge, where the Most High is speaking to us, and he takes what's on the book or in the pages and bring them alive. And when I started really understanding that, years ago, I stopped celebrating holidays. Right. Like you think about it, Christmas is the worship of the sun god Mithra. All of these holidays go back to some sun god that you're worshiping. Even birthdays is the sun worship of the fire god Ishtar. That's why you blow out the candles and make a wish. What are you blowing out? The fire is making a wish to the sun, fire god Ishtar. So, Valentine's Day is Lupercalia. Nimrod and Venus is Nimrod's mother, and they had a son. An incestuous relationship produced Cupid. I ain't gonna get into it, but anyway. So a lot of things that we do.
We have till 6 o'clock. You can talk about it. Because I'm soaking this all in.
Yeah, we do things. We do things from a place of communicated knowledge, and especially our people. We don't really investigate and read and get some understanding. And then sometimes when we do, we're so much more interested in celebrating and partying and having those events than we are worshiping the true and living Father. So. And I'm very careful even with the term God, but that's a whole nother story. We gonna get deep. You ready to get deep? I don't want to get deep.
You know what? I'm gonna give you a break. I'm gonna take a break. We're gonna take a break, cause you gotta get ready. You gotta do some stretches, whatever you gotta do, cause we about to get deep. Okay?
You sure? Because I didn't even come here for this today.
I know you don't, but you know what? We have till 6 o'clock. We're gonna touch on everything you want to touch about.
Okay.
All right. It's the rundown with your girl Racqui B, DJ City. Let's rock out. Stay locked in.
So now when they
Oh yeah, if you just tuning in, it's the rundown with your girl Racqui B, each and every Monday right here, 100.9 FM, WXIR, Rochester, New York. It's Extreme Independent Radio. I got my favorite, he's about to be my favorite pastor. Mr. Double R in the building. Triple R. Oh, what is it? Rodney R. Roberts.
Rodney
R. Roberts. Okay, Triple R. I have a question.
Yes.
This is probably an ignorant question. There's pastors, priests, bishops. What's the difference? What is it, a hierarchy? What is the difference between a pastor, a priest, and a bishop?
Well, priest, that's Catholic.
Okay.
I'm not Catholic.
Okay.
And a bishop is just a person that's a pastor of pastors, if you keep it just that simple.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. And a pastor is just called to to kind of nurture and lead a flock of people in a local area.
Okay.
So it's really that simple. But priests are Catholics, and I'm not Catholic, so
okay. So you're
much to say about that.
Okay. All right. I know you don't want to talk about this, but I want to get your insight. I want people to hear your insight on this because I think it's very important. We talked about the show Greenleaf. Yes. And you was adamant about not supporting Greenleaf.
Yes, but I wasn't saying it in a derogatory way.
Wait, right.
I just, I'm a part of the church, and it'd be no different than I'm not going to speak negative to anybody about my mother, my father, or anyone in my family. Right. And good or bad, in your family, we all have good or bad, but I'm not going to speak negative about it, and I'm not going to speak negative about the church, and I don't support anything that mocks the church.
Mocks the church. So you don't think there's no truth behind what's being portrayed in that show?
I don't know. I don't watch it.
You don't watch it.
I don't even waste my time watching it.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be fair to give you my opinion on it because I don't watch it. Okay.
I respect it. I respect it. So what do you do? It's not Sunday. What do you do during the week? What is your profession during the week? I'm a pastor. Full-time pastor? Okay.
And I'm also credit repair agent. So I do credit restoration and financial literacy. But most of the time, especially for people that know me and see me in the community, I'm either with my wife or my kids. So that's
your family.
The bulk of what I do. So like yesterday, I was with my wife and kids. We went to eat, and then we went bowling, and we acted a fool and had a great time.
Are you good at bowling?
I'm okay.
You're okay? What's your high score?
Last night I bowled about a 202.
Oh, so you're not okay. You nice.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, you nice. It's okay to be a little,
He a competitor,
you can toot your own horn here.
He a competitor. He being modest right now.
Right.
He's a big time competitor.
You see how he's biting his lips like,
it's not, you can't compete when people are not really, you know what I'm saying? They're not.
Oh, are you throwing shade? Pastor, are you throwing shade?
No, my sons, they talk a little junk, but they can't bowl like that. So tonight I'll be playing some ball with my kids tonight. And some other people, and sometimes Kyron is there with us.
Oh, Kyron is a bowler too, yeah.
No, basketball.
You hoop too?
Yeah, we do that as an opportunity to fellowship in an environment where we all love each other and it don't get crazy, so we can stay right with God.
So I was gonna say that. So how do you talk junk on the basketball court as a pastor? What do you say? Like,
oh, you don't need to know that.
You should be smiteth.
No, I don't say that. You got to remember, I'm from the hood. I'm from what they call the gateway. They don't exist no more. But no, I don't smiteth anybody. I kill it.
Oh, there was the real pastor.
That's why Damon is saying he trying to be modest. But yeah, I mean. But that's why we do it together as a family. Right. So we make sure too that, it's not personal. We keep it on the court, and then we make sure we just love on each other. Right. So Kyron, you've been around me for a couple of years now. I know you're recording. Well, how long now? About 5-6 years. And my biggest thing is to make sure that I create a family environment with everybody, love on everybody, and especially my biggest passion is young men who are fatherless. To make sure that they never ever feel some of the ways I felt growing up. So I'm always trying to be there and love on them and make sure, that they're doing well and becoming productive young men and productive family men. Right. So I'm proud of even him. He's come a long way as well. He probably don't mind me saying that, but he's been a blessing to my life just watching his maturity.
That's great. I mean, I applaud you for even taking that route, because usually when you do go fatherless, it's easy to hold resentment, instead of using that to nurture others. So, because I hold a little resentment.
You do well. Like I was telling you off air, you have to look at it from another perspective and see. There's a scripture that says the measure of thought and study you give to a thing is the measure of thought and study that comes back to you. So, I looked at my father's absence as a move of God. And when I say that, and I don't like to use the word God, but I'll use it in this sense, rejection is actually protection. And if we would begin to look at rejection as protection, it's protection for our later projection, like where he's getting ready to take us, he has to isolate us and insulate us for the next place. So some of the people that you've been trying to hold on or get upset about or have resentment towards because of their absence in their life, or they walked out of your life, it was actually him protecting you. The rejection was protection. So would you be doing and would you be where you are had certain people still been in your life? See, you got to understand, I was born in sin, shaping in iniquity, and in sin my mother conceived me. So me being estranged from my father is not a bad thing, because I am his seed. Had he watered the seed with who he is, then he would have brought out of me what was already in him. So in reality, it was a blessing, because I'd have been doing some of the same things. But now my father's out of prison, he can look back and celebrate that his son is who he is. In some cases, despite him. But I don't say despite him. I am who I am because of him.
Right. Because it goes back to this nature versus nurture thing.
Yeah.
Is whoever your father is already innate, it's in you.
Yeah, we're the sum total of both our parents.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you really escaping who he is? Because it is genetically, biologically there.
Well, yeah, because so now you're gonna make me go into my science. I know.
See,
because I was a science major.
I'm just touching I'm just making sure you still on your piece.
Well, it's scriptural too. In Deuteronomy, I think it's 25 and Exodus 5 and 9, or it's flipped. I can't remember, but it talks about the sins of the father visiting the children to the third and the fourth generation. But in the science world, they've actually backed these scriptures up, showing that these generational curses exist in our DNA. They're attached to what they call genomes through epigenetics, and so these behaviors are attached to our genomes. And sometimes that's why, I always think it's funny, a young girl gets pregnant or something like that, or a young man gets a girl pregnant, and the mother turn around, and we had a lady, I can't remember if she was 34, I think she was 34, her daughter was 17 and got pregnant. And she says to her daughter, I can't believe you got pregnant. But she's 34, her daughter's 17. You do the math.
Right.
So how old was she when she got pregnant and had her baby?
Okay.
So from a genetics perspective or a spiritual perspective, her daughter did what she did.
Right.
There was no breaking of that generational curse. And problem with that in our community, and I'm sure everybody in this room know it, there's two things that we don't talk about in our community, and that's sex and money. Think about it. Most of whatever you learned by sex, you learned by default. You just learned it, or you listen to some OGs on the corner like growing up when I did, and they telling you the most silliest things in the world, craziest stuff in the world. And so, my mom didn't sit down with me and talk about sex. I have a wonderful mother. It's just taboo in our community, and they don't teach us about money. They don't sit down and talk about how to budget your money. They don't talk to you about credit and financial literacy. So most of the stuff we learn by default. We learn after we mess it up real bad. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. What's in your father is in you, but if you know what's in your father, you can know what you do not want to do and want to be. So I was blessed to be able to look at things from that perspective and say, you know what, Heavenly Father, I thank you for the rejection, because it was protection for where you were projecting me, where you were taking me. Had I been around that, and to some degree, I was doing some things he did, and he hadn't even been in my life. Right. And I started to realize, wait a minute, the very person to a degree I didn't want to be like, I'm becoming like, I got to do something different. So now think about it this way. I got 3 sons, and I love my daughters, but I always talk about it from this perspective. I was one of the first men on my dad's side to graduate from high school and go to college. I got 3 sons that's about to graduate from college. You see what I'm saying? I got 3 sons that's been in the newspaper all the time, but never for nothing negative.
Right.
So the curse has been broken. They don't have no kids, and I pray they don't right now. But same thing with my daughter. My oldest daughter, she works at the Pentagon. She has her master's in political science. She works at the Pentagon. She's going to get her doctorate degree. All my girls work either in school or about to finish school. So I'm just saying, I've been tremendously blessed. And part of that is me recognizing that what was in my dad was in me, but crucifying that particular part of me and saying, no, I can't be like that.
Right.
So if I can't be anything else, if I'm never ever wealthy, I'm rich because I understand the importance of being a father. And here's the thing. Most men have the title of a father, but not the testimony of a father.
You must think this is Dominion Center or something. I don't know. I don't know if you think he's on the pulpit. I don't know.
You asked me a question.
Yo, you opened up that box.
I don't know what
you don't know what you know when you start asking questions.
I don't know if I want a Holy Ghost.
You started
plays or what?
Little do you know, I got Holy Ghost music. I got a praise break right there.
I feel like I need to hear Franklin stomp or something.
And we didn't even come in for this. Like, yo, this is. She said.
Stomp.
I got some of that.
You know, can I say this? You asked really great questions.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for you. Your future is really, really bright. And I'm, like I said to you before, you know, I'm expecting in 10 years, as you continue to grow in this industry, you know, make sure you maintain your integrity. But you're going to be wealthy. You're going to be wealthy. And when I speak things, they do come to pass.
I don't know if I'm about to cry for my lashes. I don't know what's going on.
But you need the word of a father to speak that into you.
Yes.
Somebody that knows that if you continue to go the way that you're going, and you continue to trust God, and you continue to put him first, believe me, in a few years you'll remember this conversation. About 2 or 3 years ago, I had told Kyron that God was going to make his name great. He'd be on television, and people would see him all over the world. And he did that crazy tarmac dancer thing. And his wife wrote the date down, everything that I said. And he was on Steve Harvey's show in front of 13 million people and 25 million people virally. And it's not over for him either. So the next step is he's going to walk into that generational wealth that'll change his kid's life forever. But you're going to be very successful. And I'm just telling you, continue to have the love and compassion you have for people, and you're going to be really great.
Okay, guys, so we're going to take a break. When we get back, we're going to talk about financial literacy. Okay, that's what you want to talk about. I mean, we could talk about everything else, but I'm going to just let you talk about what you want to talk about first, and then I'm going to dig deeper.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
You warmed up?
Yes.
All right.
For those of you that think that gospel music has gone too far, you think we've got...
Oh yeah, the temperature is rising right here on the rundown with your girl Racqui B. It is 42 degrees outside. It is wet, but you know what? Stay dry.
It's hot in here.
It's hot in here.
It's hot in here.
It's always warm.
Yeah, I know when you're outside.
Here. Where's the rundown? I got my favorite pastor, Mr. Triple R, in the building. Hello.
Hello.
And when he's not preaching, he is giving financial advice. You would consider yourself a credit counselor?
Yeah, that could be cool.
That could be cool.
I'll take that.
You'll take that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's a good answer here on the rundown. Whatever you say, Racqui. That's what you say on the rundown. Yeah, Racqui. Whatever you say. So give me pointers. And because I know our community, the black community, we're not really, now we're getting hip to credit. I think we're really getting hip to it now. There's a whole trend now that restoring your credit is big. It's trendy right now.
Yeah.
What do you think has created this trend, started this trend? Why are we so, I think, why only now that we're hip to credit?
I'm always honest. I don't know why now. But why not now?
Right.
You know, most of us, if you think about this, like if I ask you this question, you guys can answer it. How many people you know with less than a 700 credit score?
Probably everybody, right?
A lot.
Right?
All of us.
And how many people do you know would like to have things deleted or removed from their credit?
Everyone.
Right?
Everybody.
Most people don't do anything about credit until they need it. Like they go get a car and they find out their credit score is not where it needs to be, or they try to go get a home. You know, statistically, more than half of America don't even know their credit score.
I believe that.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't even want to ask you guys what's your credit score, you probably say, I don't know.
The last time I checked, it was up there. The last time I checked, I had about
you got to tell everybody on air.
I had a lot. Yeah, I'm pretty good, guys.
Well, the truth is, about 43 million Americans have a credit score of 599 or less.
Woo.
And like I said, most people don't even know their credit score. And the average debt in America per household is about $225,000. And most people don't even have $500 in their savings account. So if something happened, they're not even in place to make moves real quick. And, you know, another 2/3 of Americans can't even pass a financial literacy test. Want me to keep going? 49% have no retirement. 18% don't know don't know if they're on track as far as their income in regards to retirement. So, there's some statistics out there that you need about $10 million to retire and live comfortably for 25 years after you retire. Now, most people are not even close to that type of situation. But most people are not even at a place where they have $1 million set aside to retire. So what happens? Most people retire and they go back to work.
Right.
Or,
right.
I've seen where a lot of people are retiring within 2 years. They usually pass away. So that part I don't even understand. And then 65% have no will, no trust, and 71% have no medical or financial power of attorney.
Right.
So, within our community, what happens when somebody passes away?
We start a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Why are we not? I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but this is where like life insurance and things like that come into play. Why? I don't get that. Why are we not taking advantage of it?
Because we haven't been taught about it. I mean, think about this. Think about your formal education. While you were in high school, you took economics and government, but did they really teach you anything about economics? Did they teach you other than how to write a check and fill a check out? They didn't teach you how to balance a bank account. They didn't teach you anything about think about the 3 pillars of wealth. The 3 pillars of wealth are investments, real estate, and business. What did you learn in high school about those 3?
Investments,
is that a trick
slim
question?
to none.
Oh, you learned something? Oh, I didn't. I was
in high school.
In high school, I went to Churchville and I went to East, so I had the best of both worlds. But even at Churchville, there were some things that we didn't.
So they had classes on entrepreneurship.
No, we had financing classes.
Okay,
we had, but they weren't.
I feel cheated in life.
Yeah, I mean, but they weren't. They only skipped the top of everying. It wasn't like we got into financial literacy.
Yeah, and making sure you understood how to be a part of the Forex market.
Right.
Things of that nature.
We don't know what a Forex. You ask somebody what is a Forex market, what are you talking about? Yeah. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a response you might get from some people. Now if you talk to a Jewish kid,
well, think about that. How many Jewish kids did you see in your school?
None.
They don't send their kids to our school.
Nah, they don't.
Right.
Even if it's a good public school, they don't.
I'm sorry. Well, Brighton has kids that are Jewish, but
they all stated.
So this is a conspiracy. I think is this for us to?
It's a conspiracy, but at the same time, I think it's just been. And there are people that are doing their job in our community, but not enough of us are listening.
Right.
And myself included for years wasn't listening. I was blessed to be around people. One of my pastor's best friend owned a bunch of state farms. I don't know if you guys know about Hardee's. That's a southern.
Yeah, I know about Hardee's.
I mean, I've been blessed to be around a bunch of people who are entrepreneurs, and at the time they were trying to teach me things, but I just was closed-minded to them.
Right.
I don't even know why. But as I got older and I started having kids, I started understanding that, it's important to sit down and really have a complete understanding about financial literacy and the power of credit. And it's crazy because, if you talk to somebody of our community about having a will, they'll say, what do I need a will for? I don't have anything. Well, for some reason, you don't think you have anything, but the moment you die, the whole family's fighting over the nothing you have. Right? Even if all you have is a collection of Jordans, they fighting over who get them Jordans, or who get the jewelry, or who get grandma's pendant, or whatever the case may be. And not just that, I think that we don't think to this point that our children are our greatest commodity, right? So we don't even have a will trust in place to make sure that our kids are going to the people we want them to go to, and then money in place to make sure that they're taken care of properly. So these are just things that I'm trying to address and trying to help people with. I'm really excited about it, and I've been seeing some tremendous results. So that's what I love to be able to see people move into a house, to go get a car with the lowest interest rate possible, and they don't have to go to some good credit, bad credit, no credit place and make 28% interest on their car and pay for it 3 times, and it's a used car. So that's just kind of been what I've been crusading about, over the last few months. And then other people don't even know how to look at your credit score and how your credit score is even calculated. So let me give you, I got a few minutes.
Yeah, you
got more time.
You got an hour. I already told you. You're not listening to me.
I was listening, but I wasn't listening.
I told you we got till 6 o'clock. You're gonna do your thing.
So 35% of our credit is made up of payment history, like on-time payment versus delinquency, and that's usually weighed within the last 24 months. So if you have a sketchy payment history, it affects 35% of your credit. Now, watch this. Capacity and amount owed is 30%. So how, debt to credit ratio, debt to income ratio, but capacity and amount owed. So for example, if you got a credit card with $1,000 limit on it, traditionally they've been teaching people that you shouldn't spend over 30% of that, or use up to 30%. So if you got $1,000 limit, you shouldn't be spending over $300 on that card, and before you start paying it back down. But what do most people do? They charge their cards up all the way to the max. And think about it, 30% of your credit score is capacity amount owed, 35% is payment history. Length of credit is 15%, how long you've had that particular account. New credit is 10%, the number of inquiries or new accounts opened in the last 12 to 18 months. Now watch this, the other 10% is the type of credit used, like installment loans and revolving, loans. So we don't even know what most of our credit score is affected by the first two that I talked about, the first 35 and 30% of it, and that is payment history and capacity amount owed. So 65% of your credit is already jacked up just on that. They're giving kids credit cards in college. They don't have jobs. You talking about a conspiracy? They want us in debt.
Right.
When we go to school, they don't teach us ownership. They teach us loanership. Why? Because the borrower is a slave. The borrower is a slave to the lender.
Teach you to be a consumer.
Think about it. Now watch this. Our community has $1.2, $1.5 trillion of spending power, but yet we have 50% of the consumer debt in our community.
You gotta reverse that.
That's why when you see all the commercials are geared to our community, with the hip hop music, the families that they're showing eating at McDonald's, the families that they're showing shopping at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? The Popeye chicken lady. You know what I'm saying? My man on Arby's, we have the meat. You know what I'm saying? So
you pause, Pastor, pause.
No, my kids pause me, but I tell them they need to get their minds right. I need you to get this credit right. Don't be worried about what I'm saying. But you understand what I'm saying? And then also there's certain things we don't understand as far as the myths about credit. Yeah, it's supposedly things stay on your credit for 7 years. Bankruptcy stay on for 10, but I just helped somebody get a bankruptcy they had on there for 2 years totally off. That's not 10 years. So a lot of these things are myths. You know what I mean? Just because you pay a bill don't mean that the debt comes off your credit. You got to know how to get it off.
So how do you gradually get things off? What should you do first? What should you tackle first?
Well, the first thing you should do is, since it's Cyber Monday, you should reach out to me. And I will help you every step of the way get your credit together. So this is what I'm going to do, and we can keep talking. For everybody that's really serious about changing your financial situation and getting your credit together, instead of going to all these other companies, come to a brother, and this brother going to help you out because I love you. And what we'll do, since it's Cyber Monday, I'll give you a tremendous blessing in regards to helping you out with your credit. All you have to do is you can text me READY. And I only want people that are ready to do something. You can text me the word READY to 585-420-7100. The word READY to 585-420-7100. And then you can catch me on social media at Coach Rodney Roberts. And you'll see some of the testimonials of people. I just helped a girl get her Black Stripe clearance. And that's high security clearance within the military. You can't have anything on your credit negative at all. And you also, which I'm trying to think how she broke it down, and they make you go in a room and they do a 4-hour lie detector test. Well, some of the stuff that was on her credit, she didn't have it on there because she put on there. Some of her family members put it on there. And y'all know a lot of people who family members have done those type of things. And one of the things we were able to do, we couldn't get the stuff off right away, but we had some credit attorneys put some letters together, send it to her. She took it to her job. And while we're working on getting those things off of her credit, they gave her Black Stripe clearance in her promotion. So those are the type of things. Think about that. That means a lot for her family. She got her raise, and she got her promotion, and she got her Black Stripe clearance. So you know, and also if you visit me on social media, you can DM me or inbox me at Coach Rodney Roberts.
So
or you can visit me
freebies?
on. I didn't say freebies. Now, Racqui, watch yourself.
So I'm
gonna give him a tremendous blessing. I'm gonna give him a tremendous blessing.
So you're not gonna give us any
I'm gonna give him a tremendous blessing.
Tips right here on the rundown?
I'm gonna give him a tremendous. I'm giving you tips right now how to get your credit. What your credit score should be.
Yeah,
like.
but I asked you, where should you start if you want to renew your credit?
Well, if you want to renew your credit, a lot of people are trying to do it themselves. I'm saying that I've learned.
I like how you just
that if you have the proper help, you can get things done a lot faster. So you got to remember, they don't want your credit to be better, and you got to understand the credit bureaus don't work for the federal government; they're independent companies. So they want to do everything they can to continue to make money off you being jacked up, right? So what I'm saying is, I know a lot of people you can do it on your own, but I'm telling you, I'm helping people and they're having results within 45 to 90 days. Okay. And I want to have a bunch of people that want a home moving in the spring. Right. A bunch of people that want new vehicles, not paying extreme interest rates on these homes and these vehicles as a result of that. So the tip is, you can do it yourself. You can Google and all that to do it yourself. But we have access to credit attorneys, and this is what they do. And they get people out of these holes. And so that's what I've been doing. Can
you stress for me how important it is to have good credit? Because a lot of people don't see the importance, or they really just don't care. So I just want you to stress why is it important to have good credit? Why?
Well, you know what's so funny? I'm kind of a dinosaur in something. I'm going to show you how embarrassed I was. So my son came to me one day and he said he about to go look for he used the terms going to look for a job. So I said, okay, where you want me to take you? He was like, what do you mean, where you want me to take you? So I haven't worked for anybody since 2001. So I didn't know that you apply for jobs online.
Oh.
So I thought, you know, when I grew up, we walked into a place, you fill the application out, and they be like, they might even hired you right there on the spot.
Right. So they don't even want to see you anymore.
Yeah,
like,
one of my kids, they were getting ready to get an apartment, a really nice apartment, and they got denied because of credit score. I didn't even know that credit score could affect you getting certain jobs. It could affect you getting an apartment. Because remember, I've been for the longest, I've been kind of out of that circle. You know, I own my house. I mean, just things of that nature. And I don't have any car debt because I'll drive my car until Jesus come back. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not into flossing and all that other stuff. Right. So, you know, so I'm just getting.
He don't want to give us no.
No, it's not no tips. It's just that the thing about it, you said why credit is important, because there's certain jobs you will not be able to get without having good credit. There are certain apartments you will not be able to move into. It's gonna force you to be in a box, and you have to live in a certain environment, even if you don't want to live in it, because you can't get into certain places without having good credit. Think about this. There's a scripture in Proverbs, I think it's 22:1. It says, "A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches." Your credit is your name. It's even, you know, there's banks that won't hire people to work there if your credit score is bad, because they think you're gonna rob them. Right. And some of the most honest people are people with bad credit. Right. They're just not honest about taking care of their credit. So that's why it's important. You are kind of pinholing yourself in the positions that you don't really want to be in by having bad credit. If did that answer your question, Ms. Racqui?
I guess.
Don't you dare say you
satisfied? Were you satisfied with that?
No, it's the truth. You said, why do people need good credit? Yeah, that's why. Would you rather pay less or more for your car?
Less, definitely.
Okay then.
You gotta get you on the Money Magic show. Marketing too.
Would you rather pay less or more for your house?
Less.
Right? That's why you need good credit, because it's going to determine what type of interest rates you pay. You see what I mean? And that's the biggest thing. So it's also about saving money. Remember, I told you $1.5 trillion in spending power. Do you understand how powerful that is? Let me show you how powerful this is. There's between 192 to 195 countries on this planet. With $1.5 trillion in spending power, if we would understand in this country that we are a nation, we will be ranked 15th in the world as a nation in regards to wealth as a nation. I want you to think about that again. Out of 192 to 95 countries, because it varies depending on what you're studying, as they call us in this country, I don't call myself an African American, but that's what they call us and classify us. We have $1.5 trillion in spending power. We would be, as a nation, the 15th wealthiest nation in the world. We don't even know what we're really capable of doing.
You got that. You got that fact.
What?
But you know that goes back to you know, just keeping us in the dark about things, and I'm thankful for people like yourself,
because they don't want us to revolt.
Yeah, well, outside of that you talking about something else now. You go so rough.
Power. So
yeah, it is, and you know, just knowing. It's not only knowing, but being able to execute what you know. Yeah, is the other part of it, and once we learn how to like execute as a unit, that's how we be able to. Therefore, you know, go to and push ourselves to another.
And level. You know, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and those great leaders of the 60s understood that our spending power was the way to get things done. Oh yeah, that's why when they don't get on the bus. Yeah, Cash is like, oh no, we got to fix this. They messing with the money. See, our real power is with the money. It's not just, you know, we can pick it and we can do all those things like that. But think about this: if we boycott it and we stuck together about it, like, I don't agree with everything Monique was saying, but what she was trying to get people to understand is they would respect our spending power when we come to the table if we let them know we're not tolerating certain things, and all we got to do is pull our money out of it. Right? Yeah. What if a ton of people pulled their money out of certain things? Right. You know what I mean? The NFL wouldn't be treating us the way they treat us if we pull our money out, and the players that's making the money would say, I'm not playing. Right.
Yeah, that dollar holds so much power. So much, you know what I mean? I don't get mad. You know, some things I don't get mad about. Like, for example, this is like with the Le'Veon situation. If more people actually like stood on the ground and was like, yo, I'm not gonna play because you're not gonna keep treating me like this, the NFL would have no choice, because it's either, all right, take care of their needs or lose this $1 billion. You know, one way or another, you know, you gotta force their hand.
Because if you remove the people that look like us that's playing, nobody wants to watch that game.
It's not gonna be the same.
People can say what they want to say.
It's not gonna be the same.
They were talking that mess in the 70s when they were saying the NBA was becoming too black. Don't nobody want to watch nobody that don't look like us playing, because can't nobody do the stuff we do. Everything we do it on that next level.
That's swag.
Okay.
Good Tiger Woods.
Nobody was watching.
No one was watching golf.
Nope. But even Phil Mickelson just said that the other day. I'm glad he back. You know why he glad he back?
Because he brought back the money.
And he just played it for $9 million in Vegas.
I saw that.
I'm glad he back. Nobody else would have wanted to watch him play nobody else for $9 million.
That's
so it's you know what it is though. So like right now we're talking about this, and there are people that are listening that didn't dial that number, that didn't DM or inbox. And here's the thing. You know, some people will say, well, you know, I don't need that, or whatever the case may be. My friend said something powerful in a meeting we were in last week. And Bruce, I'm shouting you out. You're probably listening. He said, you know what happens? He says, I'm going to equate it to what we learn in AA meetings. Clean time don't equal recovery. Clean time don't equal recovery. Because just because you're abstaining from something at this particular moment don't mean that your attitude and behaviors have changed. Right?
No matter what you said earlier.
Yeah. So think about it. In other words, Racqui could say, I don't know you to be saying this, but I'm just using an example.
Be careful.
She can say, Damon, I don't cuss people out no more. And you be like, girl, that's good. But I still tell them off. Well, clean time don't equal recovery. Right. Because her attitude and her behaviors haven't changed. The scripture talks about being renewed in the spirit of your mind, which means your new attitudes and behaviors. So she's like, I don't cuss them out. But the cussing part wasn't what was hurting them. It was the words you were saying, telling them off. Like, you can still hurt people and don't have to curse. She ain't cursed in 5 years. Woo, that's awesome. But she sure know how to get you told. And I'm not saying that's about you because I don't know you, but I think you're wonderful. I can't wait till you 10 years from now you have me on one of your big shows, like Steve Harvey in the Morning type stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And she'll be like, I'm gonna bring my radio pastor in.
Speak on it.
You know what I'm saying?
R.
And we come on in and we talking to 50, 60 million people every morning. So that's coming. But anyway.
I have a question. So what is the biggest myth about credit repair? I don't know about, getting all these credit cards. Could this help your credit score? Getting all these credit cards, opening these different credit card accounts. Is that a myth?
No, you don't need a bunch of credit card accounts open, but you do need one that's open that you're paying the payments on time. Ideally, they usually say you need 3 lines of credit.
Okay.
So let's say you have your car note, you have a credit card or 2 credit cards. Ideally, they need to see 3 lines of credit. But my son and what I've been doing with my kids is when they turn 18, we have them get a credit card, and we start teaching them then how to take that card and pay on it and start building their credit history, because you can have no credit too, which they had no credit history, and start doing that so that later on they're in a position once they graduate, if they want to get something, they can go ahead and get it. You know what I mean? So, ideally, traditionally, it's taught to have 3 lines of credit. Everybody has their different views on it. I at one point had 7 credit cards. I'm down to 3, and I'll never go any higher than that. And the only reason why I didn't get rid of the other 3 is because I've had the cars for over 20 something years. So I kept them because of payment history. Because of the years that I had the credit open. But that's the only reason why and one I got rid of, I had since college. I had a Discover car since college. But I discovered that me and Discover don't need to be
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? I just like, oh no. The lady's like, you sure you want to close this account? It's 28 years old.
Then what else is
Yeah,
good. That's exactly why.
Me and Discover, we've discovered some things together that we don't need to rock out together.
But some of these credit card companies will increase your credit limit. Mm-hmm. Is that a trick?
It's a trick. You just got to be disciplined enough to not use it all.
Yeah, that is a thing.
When I see that, I'm like, oh, all right, let me go grab
I
that
I almost said the name of it. One of these credit card companies just increased my credit, and I looked at it and I said, oh my God, and it was a nice increase. And I had to tell myself, don't you spend it. Don't you spend it. Not this plan. But I don't even carry credit cards with me. I leave them in my safe, and I only use them now when I have to, like in an emergency. And then usually if I spend over a certain amount, I pay it right off.
Right.
But for the most part, the paying it right off is not a good thing, because they need to see that you have a payment history and that you can pay things over time. Oh. So sometimes you got $1,000 credit card and you spend $900 and you pay the whole $900
off.
It's not helping your credit score.
It's not.
Man,
ooh, I
remember.
See, I just got a jewel, you guys.
Yeah, that was.
See, I got a jewel. You see how I like that? You see how I did that thing? That's good entertainment right there. That's good journalism right there. He didn't even know he just dropped some jewels. He didn't even know.
Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah. That was some good journalism. It's okay. It's okay. You know, we all get duped sometimes. So. That was good.
That's messed up. She called me her pastor, and she got excited about this. She just played herself. Whoa!
Now he's gonna walk out. Okay, so this is what I do. Can I tell you what I do sometimes?
Mm-hmm. And then I want to tell people what I'll be able to do for them. Okay.
Okay. This is what I do. So with my cell phone bill, there's an option to extend your pay. So it's like, oh, you can't pay right now. Do you want to extend the date? Do you want to select a different date to pay? Mm-hmm. Is that a trick? Are they tricking me? Is that going towards my credit?
It can.
If you don't pay.
Yeah, if you don't pay it can.
So the fact that I'm extending my payment is not going to have to do with my credit.
I don't think that's wise.
Okay.
But I think that's a setup.
You think that's a setup?
Yeah, because the moment you don't pay it, they're going to show all 2 or 3 of them late payments you extended.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So to me, I think you should just go ahead and take care. Racqui B, I thought you was collecting that cash, man. What's going on? Pay that cell phone bill.
I'm like, well, I could just drop this on some shoes. I don't really need it.
See, what you need to do.
There's like a million other me's paying you right now. You don't need my little dollar.
So what you need to do, though, is you need to find a company that will sponsor you. Mm-hmm. And that way you will never have a phone bill. The Racqui B Show brought to you by Boost Mobile. The Racqui B Show brought to you by.
Oh, yeah.
And Racqui B be talking for free.
Oh.
talked about it.
We have meetings about this, right? We got something going on.
And I ain't shout out Boost Mobile, but don't.
We just using it as an example.
You know what I'm saying? But listen, if somebody's listening, you know what I mean? Y'all can barter and exchange free phone service for her shouting out and saying that the show is brought to you by, and all of her viewers and listeners. Y'all just made some money. Y'all should have called in. Rockin' B.
2019 is going to be a great year.
I just feel like a lot of us are going to level up, and we just gotta just stay disciplined, man. My father been telling me for like a minute now, like, yo, you gotta be disciplined, gotta be disciplined. I'm like, all right, pops. Now I'm just like, all right. Like, put my feet in the sand and really get disciplined.
Your father, I know your dad.
Like, you guys gonna have a.
He go hard though, man.
He does go hard.
Are you guys having?
He got about 15 jobs, man.
Is this like a family special?
He just picked up 2 more.
This is a family special.
No, real, like, my father really does go hard. Shout out my pops.
Since he's been able to get a worker's permit, he ain't been playing, man. For real.
Yeah, I love my father just picked up 2 more jobs, man.
So Racqui, let me just tell people this real quick. You listen, everybody that's listening.
Serious about getting your credit score.
You can restore your credit, and the thing about it is we can help you get inaccuracies, charged off, late payments, foreclosure, bankruptcies, tax liens, collections, short sales, medical bills, hard inquiries, you name it, we can get those things removed. And simply because of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it gives all Americans the right to dispute and or investigate any items that's on your credit report. And so we had a lady, $50,000 tax lien, totally gone. They was taking $1,200 a month out of her account, not asking her for it or telling her to send it. Uncle Sam takes it.
Right.
And so I'm telling you, school loans, we cannot get school loans removed, but we can get all of the negative payment history removed. Which, again, remember, payment history makes up a large chunk of your credit. So we've been able to get people's payment history removed for the student loans. They had some stuff that was delinquent and in default, and we've been able to get it removed and their credit score shot up. And I want to tell you something that's powerful. Most people that's listening that rent, your landlord never ever reports that you pay your rent on time, right? But what?
If you're late, he's going to let them know that he was late paying his rent for 3 months.
Yeah, they will, and if they evict you, they will put that on your credit as a judgment, right? So one of the things that we do too is we have a part of, as we're restoring your credit, getting things deleted and removed, we also have credit building stuff like credit my rent. So there's a form you fill out, you have your landlord sign it, and we can get your rent credited for 2 years as positive payment history and add that to your credit report. And we've seen people's scores go up 60 to 80 points just with the credit my rent piece. And if you can't get a credit card, we work with you and show you how to get a secured card at very low interest rates. It should be low anyway, it's your own money.
Right.
And start building your credit. So the credit my rent is dope because you think about it. You've been paying your rent for 2 years. He ain't reporting that. But like you said, if you miss paying that rent, they're going to definitely make sure they come for you.
And for your credit cards, they tell you to pay is it better to pay more than your limited amount? When you're paying your
all of that stuff, it all depends on certain things. Like I said, if you're already not spending to the limit, so if, like we go back to the $1,000 example, if you're already keeping your debt on that card under $300, which is 30%,
right,
and you just keep paying your payment history on that, as long as you don't ever go over that, no. But if you go over your 30, pay that off to make sure you keep yourself before the next payment, the next bill come out. So in other words, if I spent $5 on that $1,000 before the next bill cycle come out, I'm going to probably pay about $250 to make sure that I keep myself under that 30%. Right. You know what I mean? But those are the little things that you need to do. She thinks she's doing good journalism because I told her so.
I know.
Look at her. But I don't mind telling people that.
You see?
Like she's trying to swindle somebody.
I'm going to make you even more comfortable. You can be like, you know what? These are my top 3 advice.
And you know what else we doing that's real dope? I got to tell you this. We have what we call youth financial literacy. And we go into the schools across America and we educate kids 8 to 18 on matters of personal finances. So if you are a teacher listening in the city school district or in the county schools, you know, reach out to me as well, and we'll come in, and when we get the first 30 kids to complete the financial literacy packet, we'll come in, do a pizza party, and give your school a check for $500 for you guys to do something with the kids positive. And then those kids that complete the packets are now eligible for the annual scholarships that we give out. And last year we gave out $250,000 in scholarship money, and in February of this year we'll be giving out over $300,000. So we're not just talking about, just the credit piece from the perspective of adults, but we want to make sure that we put that foundation in place for your kids in the next. There you go, bro.
Break the generation.
You're breaking the curse right now. That's what he's doing.
It's all great. Getting back to that, everything we've discussed is all getting back to breaking those generational curses.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a fact. Oh yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
That's great. We gotta talk. Cause I work with the kids still.
Okay.
And I work with the kids that are in control. That's the kids you hear next door. But we actually went to Attica today.
Whew.
Yeah, they actually talked to some of the inmates. It wasn't like Scared Straight or anything like that.
Oh no.
Yeah, they went and just talked.
I used to preach
inmates.
in Attica all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
So they, these kids need some of that structure.
Yeah. Actually, I preach in every prison in upstate New York, but
it's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So you did a lot of preaching.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy. I also did peer-to-peer education programs where I was going in teaching inmates about financial literacy, credit restoration, but also at the time too, because like I told you, one of the conversations that we're not having in our community is about sex, and we're having a major epidemic with HIV and AIDS among our black women. And so I did peer-to-peer education in all the prisons, Wyoming, Livingston, Groveland, Attica, Elmira, Wendy, oh man, I can't remember all of them, Albion, you name them, I've been in them. And we did the peer-to-peer education program, and I was blessed to be given some money by the state to go in and do those programs as well, and some transitional housing for inmates coming out of the prison system. So I've been quite busy throughout the years. Yeah. But now I'm really just trying to empower them. Huh?
You're so modest.
I know.
You're being modest right now.
I probably think this song is about me.
It's the rundown with Pastor Triple R in the building. We got. I have if they want to get in contact with you in connection to credit restoration.
One more. Yeah.
What's your contact again? So
they can reach me at CoachRodneyRoberts.com. That's CoachRodneyRoberts.com or at Coach Rodney Roberts on Instagram and Facebook. And if they go to CoachRodneyRoberts.com, I think they'll have links on there for Facebook and Instagram. If they inbox me or DM me ready, I'm going to bless them real good on Cyber Monday.
Yes.
And if they text me ready, I'm going to do the same. And that's at 585-420-7100. And text ready, and we're going to get you right. So you can go into the New Year's with not just a resolution, but some real change.
Real quick,
real change.
Cardi from the Money Magic Show asked you to basically come on her show there on Wednesdays, I think at 1:00.
It's a done deal.
All right.
It's a done deal. Can I say something real quick?
Sir.
Go ahead.
I want to just tell you thank you for for having me here today. You never met me.
Never.
But when I guess Kyron asked you, you said, no problem. And I just want to just again speak life, and as well as to you, Damon, that as you continue to bless the community and be a voice for the community and keep integrity in the forefront of everything you do, your way will be made prosperous and you'll have good success. And also because you have people praying for you and believing God for you. So y'all just keep doing the good work. And once again, thank you, and I love you. Appreciate you.
Oh, I love you too.
Oh,
this is so nice. You're not going anywhere though. You're not going. As a family man, I have something to ask you. We're gonna talk. We have our next topic coming up. We're gonna let DJ City rock out.
I was only gonna be here for a few minutes. Look how she wants.
Yeah, you got a half an hour left. We gonna talk about.
Yeah, I know when you're outside. I can feel the temperature rise. Yeah, I know when you're outside.
And I still got scores to settle. Man, I crap.
Oh yeah, it's a rundown with your girl Racqui B. Each and every Monday, we got a half an hour left, and I got my favorite pastor in the building, Pastor Rodney Roberts. You still here with me?
Yes, ma'am.
We were just talking about financial literacy and having the importance of having a great credit score. And now we're going to switch gears because you are a family man.
Yes.
You said you have
8 kids.
8 kids.
Yes.
Papa was a Rolling
No,
Stone.
no, Rolling Stone, man, he wasn't there. Don't call me a Rolling Stone.
Yeah, Rolling Stone. He wasn't there.
Okay, whoa,
Get your songs right.
Wrong song. So, okay, I want to bring this up. I know you probably are aware of it. I don't know if you're aware of it, but the rapper Joel Santana.
What about
He's in Dipset. I don't know if you heard of the rap group Dipset.
I've heard of Dipset.
I bet you have. And he actually just proposed to his
Ballin',
right, with Jim Jones.
That's how probably the only thing I ever heard, but go ahead.
That's good. I mean, you're gonna, okay, so we're on the same page. So Joel Santana, he just proposed to his girlfriend, Kim Bella. They've been together for over 10 years, 10, 15 years. And it sparked a lot of controversy on social media. Everyone was wondering, I won't be with someone for that long, and waiting to get proposed to. What, do you think there's a time frame on when a man should marry a woman or at least propose to a woman? And how long you think a woman should wait before she gets proposed to? Do you think there's a time frame on that?
I don't know if I'm going to touch that.
You don't want to touch that?
So
wise man, well,
the reason why I don't want to touch that is because I don't want to touch that. I just think that is crazy because I don't want to touch that. You got me on live?
I got you on live.
You should have told me. I could have shared it on my Facebook page. I was wrong.
You can be on live. Well, we already have it filmed, so you're good.
So what I can do? So
you're not going to touch on that.
Go to your page and share it anyway.
Okay.
Right. I could still share it, even though was live.
I like how you're just trying to jump around the question I asked you, though. Do you think there's a time frame? I'm gonna switch it up.
In this case, do they have kids?
They do have kids.
Yeah. I don't know their situation.
Okay.
So I want to be very careful. Marriage is honorable. So the positive thing is that he has proposed and he's going to get married.
Okay.
I just think people have to be very careful because there's a lot of people that saying, like you said, they wouldn't get married or they wouldn't be in a relationship with that guy that long. But that's the problem to some degree. Some of them are in too many short relationships. So
do you think a man actually knows his wife when he sees her? Is that a myth?
There's some truth to that.
Okay. So when did you know? Is it ever a short? Is there any such thing as too short of a time?
Well, my wife and my situation was crazy because this is, and I will go into this. So my wife came and visited our church because she was opening her hair salon and she wanted to get the salon dedicated.
Oh, okay.
So she happened to be doing the hair of the pastor's wife here. And so she says, well, come to church and I'm sure my husband has no problem coming to dedicate your salon. So she comes to church. He says, okay, and has a dedication. And he told everybody in the church about it, which was, I didn't know why he did it then, but they did a dedication. I didn't go. I didn't know her. I didn't feel like I had to go.
Right.
Right. And so he seen me. He was like, yeah, the lady that came to get her hair salon dedicated, she asked, why didn't you come? So I was like, man, all these women study sweat me, man. This is crazy. My wife gonna kill me if she hears this. But so I don't even know why he said it. I mean, I just consider it divine providence to a degree because so he says that to me and I said, okay, I'll drive by there and just, say something to her because I don't want her to be upset. He was trying to make it look like she ain't going to come to the church because you didn't come. He was really gassing it. You know what I mean?
All the time.
So, yeah. I was like, we losing a potential member.
The church.
You don't go over there.
This is a fellow saint.
Say hi.
Say somebody.
So I go over there and this is the truth. When I walked in there, they were playing MC Hammer, Pumps in a Bump.
Pumps in a Bump.
And so my wife, she looks over and whoever had it on, she's like, turn that down, that preacher dude is here. and so I went in and I said, yeah, my pastor was telling me that you were upset because I didn't come by. And I really was meaning it just that simple, like that. And she was like, no, I wasn't. I said, well, he said that, I'm looking stupid now because she's like he said that she said, oh, I asked, but I didn't mean to make a big deal out of it.
Right.
So I said, okay, I just wanted to make sure everything was good. I'm walking out the salon. her friend named Calvin. He passed away now. He became my best friend. And I'll tell you this, if your wife got a best friend and that ain't your best friend when y'all get married, that is more than her best friend. And if you got a guy with a woman that's his best friend, and the wife don't become her best friend, something ain't right.
Right.
But me and Calvin ended up becoming best friends. But when I walked out the door, and my wife always says it like this, she says, the biggest heathen on the planet, watch how God used him. He walks out the door, he says, that's your husband right there. And when y'all get married, y'all gonna have boys. We had 3 boys back to back when we got married. So he always says he wished that God would have used them a little more. But so we ended up seeing each other here and there in church, and then I think my kids, because me and her, when we got married, she had 3, I had 1, but I don't never say her kids, they're all my kids.
Right.
So she sees me at 16 school and she's like, oh, your daughter goes? Yeah, my daughter. And at the time I was raising my daughter by myself. And she was like, if you ever need somebody to get her because you can't grab her when you get off work or you at work, I help you out. So one day I needed her to get her, and I called my pastor's wife and was like, hey, can you ask that lady to pick my daughter up and drop her to your house for me and whatever? And she dropped her off, and we've been together ever since then. So we just been 24 years on the 18th of November.
Ooh, so how long did it take you to propose?
Year.
A year.
Yeah, a year.
Do you think that's a sufficient amount of time to know someone and know that's
well, I've been with her for 24 years, and I don't want nobody else. I always say if something happened to her, I ain't ever getting married again. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but I don't think of anybody on this planet that can measure up to Michelle Roberts. So
talk.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I got it. So my man better say that.
It's gonna be real hard.
My man better say that.
They'll be like, you better stop comparing me. I was like, I'm my bad. I don't know nobody else to so
to measure you up to.
So yeah, I just it's I'd like to see more black families be successful in raising their kids together. But I'm not at liberty to tell somebody when somebody's the one for them. I think a lot of people are getting married for all the wrong reasons, especially women. So a lot of women think they're ready to be married, but they're not. Just because you can have sex don't mean you're ready to get married. So
do you think social media, this day and age of social media, are pushing people, is creating pressure on marriage? I
don't know about all that, because I'm not on it enough to know that. I just think that women and men are so different. When a man meets the woman he loves, he knows, like, he changes in all kind of crazy ways that other people go, hey man, what's going on with you? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's, see, the one thing about a man, I think that from my perspective is that you saying you're in love with somebody don't equate to you having success in a relationship. You have to have a revelation of what it means to be committed, because you ain't gonna feel like you love that person every day. But if you're committed and you love who they are, you know what I mean? Because you can get fat, skinny, you know what I'm saying, all those things, but it don't matter.
Right.
So me and my wife got fat together. Right. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And we was like, girl, you cook so good, just keep feeding. So yeah, I mean, marriage is about commitment, and it's not about that whole euphoria. And I think a lot of people get married off that euphoria piece, and a variety of reasons. One day we got to come back and I'll talk a little bit more in depth about it, because I think a lot of our women live from a place of fantasy and not reality.
Well, we got another show that come on here. Situationships.
Yeah,
and we got.
I'm gonna keep it to Racqui Peter. I'm gonna keep it to Racqui Peter.
I think where women fail is the fact that they present ultimatums.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't marry me, then I'm gonna leave you. And I feel like when a man feels pressured underneath an ultimatum, that's the basis for an unhealthy relationship.
But remember, I told you off air. Now I'm going to get deep a little bit. That's witchcraft. See, a lot of us, we think witchcraft is, somebody threw some salt and shot some bones over into the corner. But scripturally, the word witchcraft in the Greek is pharmakeia, where we get the word pharmacy. And they pass out controlled substance at a pharmacy. And so what happens is ultimatums is a form of control. It's a form of witchcraft. It's manipulation. You don't want to ever be in any situation where you're manipulating somebody to be with you, because you're going to have to keep manipulating them.
Ooh.
And when the person gets to a place where they don't want to be manipulated anymore, they're going to walk off. Because nobody wants to be controlled. Right. Think about that. If you keep it, okay, if you keep it simple, our dominion mandate by the Most High is that we not be controlled. We've been created to have dominion, which is to rule, to control, to master, manage, and to lead, right? So when talking about people, everybody's not a leader. Everybody is a leader, just needs to be pulled out of them.
Right.
Right. So dominion mandate we have is not to be controlled, but most people spend their life trying to control other people but have no self-control. So the dominion mandate, the Ruach, it's called Rada, excuse me, is to control, to master, manage, and to lead yourself. So if we spent more time having self-control and instead of trying to control people, then our relationships would be healthier with one another. You understand what I mean? So that's the real issue. Or even when a guy is manipulating a woman, you know, for whatever reason, eventually she's not going to tolerate that because nobody wants to be controlled. Even people listening right now, I'll give you a simple example. You at work, somebody say, go over there and do that right now. You'd be like, who are you talking to?
Right.
Right?
Ooh.
You saw her face.
Shout out to my ex-supervisor.
whoever that is. Because no one likes to be controlled. You think about it in a relationship, depending on how a man come at you, right? You like, bro, hold up, man. You can't talk to me like that. Nobody likes to be controlled. If we practice self-control and learn how to be disciplined ourselves, and I'm saying this, I had to learn this myself. Only person I control is me. And most of the time we do not control ourselves. So we spend most of our life trying to control other people.
He dropped one, boom, just like that.
We could get him to drop some credit advice like that. We've been but Pastor, I just have one question for you.
Oh my God.
One more and we're going to end it right here.
You know, I thought I was going to be here from 4 to 5.
Yeah, black people time. So, which really means 4:45 to 6.
Okay.
So, do you think that there's a such thing as waiting too long? Should a woman walk away at a certain point if she's waiting too long? Is there a point where you like, you know what, this man is never going to propose because it's been 15 years?
Why has she been in it that long? More than likely, she's invested more than she should have invested anyway.
Well, like, if she feel like that, then she should already walk.
Yeah. You see what?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, what I'm saying is the problem is people end up staying attached in the relationships because they've already given more than they should have given without getting what was required. So I'm from another perspective. I feel like this gonna mess with you a little bit. If women were more, y'all, oh God,
yeah, please watch what you're saying because you are on a woman's show. Okay, go ahead.
No, if you, so I tell my daughters this, and it doesn't mean it's been perfectly understood, but you're not giving up the cookies, you're giving up the diamond. And did you know that diamonds, like if you go to Kay's or Jarrett's or whatever, that diamonds are not really worth what people are paying for in the stores. So like if you take a diamond ring, a 2-carat ring, and you go to the pawn shop and you paid $7,000-8,000 for it. I'm just giving out numbers. You might go to the pawn shop and they offer you $1,000.
Right.
And the dude at the pawn shop may say, I only care about the gold. I don't care about the diamond. The diamond is worthless to me. See, a diamond is only worth what the person is willing to pay. If you stop treating your person like it's the cookie and treat it like it's a diamond and set a price on it, and when the person is not willing to pay the price, you need to understand it's time to walk away from the table. So how much is your diamond worth?
No, I'm saying no. It's one of those questions where he just leaving it out there for you. Like he's leaving it out there for everybody. Like just put out, how much is your diamond worth? Like that's for you to like basically for you to calibrate.
You know, I said this to a young lady some time ago. I said, the young man you with, does he add value to your life? And she says, and I'll end it with this. She says, well, he's not taking away. I said, but he's not adding any value. Cause you just said that. I said, so what has happened is, the way he's living is crappy. you can substitute that with a curse word. So what he's done is he's taken your diamond and he's drug it through dung. And other people can't see how valuable you are because your diamond is full of mess. And they won't take the time to investigate it because who wants to hold on to some mess? So here you are, you look like mess, but in reality it's just because you got somebody else mess on you. And what you need to do is to get in a situation where you get by yourself and get cleaned up so somebody else can see what you're worth. Because right now what you're carrying is the stench of somebody else, and it's affecting your value. It's affecting your worth.
Woo. Well, guys, do we have a reggae horn? We have a reggae horn. And I you know what? And I want to piggyback off of that, and because there are women out here that feel like they can't be without a man, that their worth is with someone else, and they don't take the time to actually learn themselves, have some self-control. You know, so I want to, I just, to those women, you know, it's easy to, why do some women feel like they can't be by themselves?
I don't know.
Why do they find their value within a man?
Women are the greatest creation that the Heavenly Father's placed on the planet.
I second that.
But y'all have to understand that and know that. And the truth of the matter is, if you place more value in yourself, you'll attract people that's willing to pay the price.
That's a fact. You drop a bomb.
So are you a pawn shop diamond? Or are you a jeweler's diamond?
Are you a diamond?
That is the question. Are you a cubic zirconian? Look, we gotta have you back. We gotta talk about this.
You'll see what I mean. As you continue to grow and you become successful, you will find that just your success will eliminate some people, because people who don't have themselves in certain position will know that they can't come to the table with absolutely nothing. Now, you can decide that that's not the case, or you can realize the place that you've been put into, that not just from the perspective of business realm you're successful, but I have to carry that over in my everyday life.
Right.
And here's the thing, I don't really speak to the men piece because we got more women out here than men, right? So technically a guy gonna find a woman some kind of way, right? But when a guy gets serious and he wants to settle down, he's looking for a diamond, not a dime piece.
A diamond.
Come
on. Diamonds are forever.
Not a dime piece. Dime pieces ain't forever.
No, they not.
Right?
The diamonds are.
So, you know what I'm saying? When I met my wife, the scripture says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing and obtains favor with the Lord. Everything about my life that is good and great is because of my wife. You see what I'm saying? So because of that, you know, I understand that I found a diamond, and diamonds are forever. Yeah.
I just know that my boyfriend better talk about me like you talk about your wife, cause somebody about to get.
Yo, you can't.
No, you're supposed to say somebody about to take some classes.
Somebody
about to take some classes
with Coach Rodney Roberts. We're gonna take class. You know, you should.
Hey, Kyron, listen. Kyron is here. So I know you're not on the air, but Kyron, when we have conversations like this, this is the common thing we talk about, and you know, we don't need no more soft men. You know, we need some men that's gonna go hard for their families. So I try to lead the best I can by example. I've made tons of mistakes in my life, but only reason why I'm here is the grace of God and that diamond.
Yes. You know, I can't remember his name, but his oh gosh, I think they call him Peace something. Peace.
Mike Peace.
That's and he wears dad. His
wife Julia picture on his.
That's your dad?
That's my spiritual dad.
Oh, okay.
That
and
man found me
his wife?
when I was in the hood at 12 years old. See how you came into that? 12 years old, I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. He used to drive around in a van, pick kids up, take them and feed them, and give them the gospel. He been in my life since I was 12, and every time I can't talk about him without crying. But that man is the truth. He's legit. So None of that is fake. None of that is false. That's him all day. And if I called him right now and I was in any kind of trouble, he dropped everything and running. And he does that with all of us. All of us. So I don't want to talk about it no more because you almost made me mess up. So the things you hear me say, he taught me that from a young age. A man can have a title of a father, but you want a testimony of a father. Very powerful. So you get rejected, protected, and he'll put you in position with people that'll give you what you need to be who you're supposed to be. His story is powerful too. Very powerful. He was adopted. It's an amazing story. But he has so many young men and women in this city that he's changed their lives. So shout out to Papa Peace and Mama Peace.
Papa Peace and Mama Peace.
That's what I call him, Papa.
Listen, it's the rundown with your girl Racqui B. It's time for us to shut down, but it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. You've been here for full 2 hours. It didn't feel like it, huh?
No, I appreciate you. Seriously, Damon. You know I love you, man.
Yeah, I love you too. I gotta get you. You know, I got a show too. I got daytime though.
Anytime y'all need me.
It's the rundown with your girl Racqui B.
You like my man Valentino.
Each and every Monday right here, 100.9 FM from 4 to 6. You never know who's gonna stop by.
Yes.
One of those shows.
It is.
It was a pleasure having you.
Okay.
What a vibe.
And I'm gonna go put my face on a pin. A big old button pin. I'm like, you better wear this.
You know what's crazy? He must got like 1 million of them. Cause I've never, and that's the thing. Every time I see him, I'll be like, oh, you got it on.
Yep.
So only time he doesn't wear it is when he's working out. He don't want to get sweat on it.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. Until then, you gonna just wear a rundown sweatshirt. It's your girl Racqui B. You got the Queen Code up next. Same time next week. Peace.
DJ City.